A quiet suburban street exploded into chaos the moment a young martial arts champion pointed at a calm black man carrying grocery bags and declared that today would be the day he proved who the stronger fighter was. Neighbors stepped onto their porches, phones appeared in trembling hands, whispers spread from yard to yard, and everyone expected to witness another public humiliation. The wealthy family living in the largest house on the block smiled with complete confidence because their son had collected trophies, black belts, and local championships for years. What nobody knew was that the quiet man they mocked had spent decades surviving battlefields where courage mattered more than applause. Hidden beneath his ordinary clothes was the discipline of a Navy SEAL commander whose greatest victories had never been recorded on social media, but inside the hearts of the soldiers he had brought home alive. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is stronger than pride and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Humanity Tales. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories that remind the world why compassion always matters. The quiet man was named Marcus Hill, a 48-year-old retired Navy SEAL commander who had recently moved into the neighborhood after losing his wife to cancer. His new home was small compared to the luxurious mansion next door, but it carried memories far more valuable than expensive walls. Every evening he watered flowers his late wife had loved, greeted elderly neighbors with a gentle smile, and volunteered at the local youth center teaching discipline instead of violence. Most people simply assumed he was another middle-aged veteran trying to enjoy retirement. Marcus never corrected them because he had spent his entire military career believing that true strength never needed introductions. Every scar on his body reminded him that surviving war was meaningless unless it made him a better human being afterward. Living beside Marcus was the wealthy Carter family. They owned successful businesses, expensive sports cars, and a reputation for believing money solved every problem. Their 18-year-old son, Ethan Carter, had become the pride of local martial arts competitions. Winning tournaments had filled him with confidence, but over time confidence slowly transformed into arrogance. His father praised every victory as proof that Ethan was destined to dominate everyone around him. Whenever neighbors admired Ethan's achievements, they unknowingly fed an ego that had stopped respecting humility. Instead of seeing martial arts as a path toward discipline, Ethan began treating it like a license to intimidate people who looked weaker than himself. Marcus noticed the behavior but refused to judge the teenager. He remembered leading young soldiers who had entered military service with similar pride before life humbled them. He believed people could change if someone showed them patience instead of anger. Whenever Ethan made sarcastic comments about Marcus's old pickup truck or laughed at his simple clothes, Marcus simply smiled and continued with his day. That calm response frustrated Ethan even more because he wanted reactions, not silence. Deep inside, Marcus understood that the loudest pride often hid the deepest insecurity. One sunny Saturday afternoon, the neighborhood gathered for a charity barbecue at the community park. Families laughed together while children played across the grass. Marcus spent most of the afternoon grilling food for veterans and helping elderly guests carry heavy chairs. Ethan arrived wearing a branded martial arts jacket with several medals hanging proudly across his chest. Surrounded by friends eager to impress him, he spotted Marcus lifting boxes of donated supplies with effortless ease. Mistaking quiet confidence for weakness, Ethan decided this would become another opportunity to entertain everyone. He loudly announced that he had heard Marcus used to serve in the military and challenged him to a friendly sparring match. The crowd laughed nervously, assuming Marcus would politely decline. Instead, Marcus calmly explained that fighting should never be entertainment and that real warriors only used force when absolutely necessary. Ethan interpreted that wisdom as fear. He continued mocking Marcus, claiming modern fighters could easily defeat old soldiers. Every insult became louder than the previous one until even children stopped playing to watch the growing tension. Marcus remembered another afternoon many years earlier in Afghanistan when an inexperienced soldier had ignored orders because he wanted to prove himself. That young man never returned home. The memory still haunted Marcus because pride often demanded a price that experience desperately tried to prevent. Looking into Ethan's eyes, Marcus saw not an enemy but another young man standing dangerously close to learning that lesson the hard way. The situation escalated when Ethan suddenly assumed a fighting stance before dozens of shocked neighbors. His father watched proudly instead of stopping him. Cameras began recording. Some expected Marcus to walk away. Others secretly hoped to witness an unforgettable fight. Marcus quietly placed the grocery bags on the ground and stepped forward, not with anger but with remarkable calm. His posture immediately changed. Every movement became balanced, controlled, and incredibly precise. Older veterans attending the barbecue instantly recognized that posture. It belonged to someone whose training had been tested under real gunfire rather than bright tournament lights. Without throwing a single punch, Marcus gently demonstrated defensive positioning, effortlessly avoiding Ethan's aggressive attacks while never attempting to hurt him. Ethan attacked repeatedly, growing more frustrated each time his strikes met nothing except empty air. Marcus redirected every movement with astonishing control, using the teenager's own momentum against him until Ethan lost balance and landed harmlessly on the grass. The crowd fell completely silent. There had been no violence, no humiliation, only a masterclass in restraint. An elderly Marine veteran stepped forward with tears forming in his eyes and quietly revealed what Marcus had spent years hiding. He explained that Marcus Hill had commanded elite Navy SEAL missions responsible for rescuing hostages, protecting innocent families, and bringing wounded soldiers safely home under impossible circumstances. Decorations filled boxes inside Marcus's closet because he believed medals belonged to the nation, not his living room. Suddenly every neighbor realized they had witnessed genuine greatness disguised as ordinary kindness. Ethan's confidence shattered. For the first time in years, he understood the enormous difference between collecting trophies and carrying responsibility for human lives. Looking around, he noticed disappointment replacing admiration in the faces of his friends. The victory he had imagined became the most painful lesson of his life. Marcus offered him a hand instead of another demonstration. That simple gesture carried more strength than any strike ever could. Even Ethan's wealthy father experienced a profound change. Watching his son earn genuine respect through humility instead of intimidation forced him to confront his own mistakes. He began supporting veteran charities and anonymously funded scholarships for children who could never afford martial arts training. The mansion next door remained impressive, but the greatest transformation happened inside the hearts of the family living there. Months later, the same community park hosted another charity event. This time Ethan stood beside Marcus serving meals instead of seeking attention. Children admired both men equally, not because of fighting skills but because they represented something far more meaningful. Marcus finally realized that although war had taken many precious things from him, it had also given him the wisdom to prevent another young life from being destroyed by pride. His late wife's favorite flowers bloomed beautifully in his front yard that spring, reminding him that love continued growing wherever kindness was planted. As this unforgettable chapter came to its quiet end, Ethan understood that becoming truly strong had nothing to do with overpowering another person. Real strength meant protecting the weak, admitting mistakes, showing mercy when revenge felt easier, and learning from those who expected nothing in return. Marcus never wanted recognition for the battles he had survived. The greatest victory of his life became helping one lost young man discover that courage without compassion is empty, but courage guided by kindness can change generations. The neighborhood never again remembered the day as the afternoon a black belt challenged a stranger. Instead, they remembered it as the day pride met wisdom, and wisdom chose forgiveness. Before you go, if this story inspired you or reminded you that kindness is the greatest form of strength, please like this video, share it with someone who needs this message today, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Humanity Tales. Your support helps us continue sharing emotional stories that restore hope, compassion, and humanity, one story at a time.